Let's talk about today's internet prospect and what we know about them. We know that they have an 8-second attention span, right? We understand that they've spent weeks online looking for vehicles before they ever reached out. We're absolutely certain that they don't like you or trust you yet, and how you respond to them will decide where they go with their like and their trust, and if they're willing to put their money into your pocket. And the great news is they don't have any idea how this works. They really don't. Think about the internet prospect as someone who has basically raised their hand and said, look, help me buy your vehicle from you today. The idea is we need to assume the sale, while also realizing that this internet prospect would like nothing more than for your team to eliminate you from their consideration set. So we need to figure out how we can do this and not get dumped before the first date, right? So when we think about not getting dumped before the first date, if you'd like to get dumped right away with your internet leads, have a slow response or no real response. We know from our data that the first dealer to reach a new prospect is 4 to 5 times more likely to sell them a car than the second dealer to reach that same prospect. So if you have an average 1 hour, 2 hour internet response time, guess what? You're getting dumped before the first date. And when I say no real response, I'm talking about where your team sends a stop the clock email. Maybe they send a stop the clock text, but that's it. They don't pick up the phone, they don't call these customers, and they don't try to get that reconnection early in the process. I still see dealers today that have processes that are so outdated they're getting dumped because they spread 20 phone calls over the first 30 days of their 180-day process. And the fact of the matter is, 95% of the internet sales that you make, you're going to make to people you connected with in the first 3 days. And so your processes should focus on heavy human tasks the first 3 days. There is an epidemic right now in automotive with automotive salespeople skipping or faking tasks. And the idea is this: they do this because your process, your internet sales process, is probably loaded with non-money tasks. Making a call on day 20 to a non-responsive internet prospect isn't going to get you a return on effort, and your salespeople know it, so they skip that task or they fake it. And once they start faking your non-money tasks, they turn around and start faking your money tasks as well. How about use old school word tracks, weak word tracks, right? Trying to build rapport on the phone with someone who doesn't like or trust you yet is a sure sign to fail. And asking the prospect if they need more information removes the urgency from the purchase. The fact of the matter is they don't like or trust you, but they've reached out to you. And when your team reaches them, they should use a strong word track that invites them in for the appointment, which is the road to the sales step they want to take most. How about vomiting information? I've been at the NADA show all day today, and I saw all these great tools that will immediately throw payments in front of your customer's face. How terrific. Once they know all the information, they don't need to come see you. Yes, every buyer wants to know everything before they come and arrive at the store, but it doesn't mean we should be answering write-up questions before the write-up. Think about it. You won't let your salespeople answer write-up questions on the lot for good reason. So why are you letting your BDC or your salespeople answer write-up questions over the phone? If you want to get dumped before the first date, just start off with really weak word tracks, right, that encourage salespeople to say things like, when would you like to come in and test drive it? Or did you need any other information? When we do these things, we cede control of the call to the prospect. And so we give up control right away. And when you fail to grab control, you are less likely to sell a car. The number one reason that we don't set a same-day appointment that shows is because we lost or never had control. And we're going to tackle grabbing and maintaining control with your internet leads and setting same-day appointments that show and buy after we touch a bit on the processes that actually move metal. And contrary to what your managers believe, loading up your internet sales process with 20 calls over the first 30 days doesn't sell you any more vehicles. In fact, it sells you fewer vehicles because your team is either wasting their time making these non-money calls, or they're simply skipping and faking all of the call tasks in your process. And look, we call them an internet sales process, but really it's a connection process. So my internet sales process, they only go 21 days. It's a connection process. They only have 6 calls over those 21 days and only 3 text messages. In fact, we have no human tasks after day 3 because they don't make sense for your team to do it. Any good CRM can be set up with these processes as long as we understand it's not a sales process, it's simply a connection process. You need at least 4 processes. You don't need a separate process for Cars.com and a separate one for AutoTrader, but you do need 4 basic processes. The traditional process, which is a vehicle lead with a phone number. The no phone process, we've got a vehicle lead, but we don't have a phone number. And then the credit app process, that's a completely different lead, even if they have a vehicle of interest. And then finally, the trade-in lead process. You need these 4 processes because your communication to each of these 4 types of customers is going to be completely different. The goal is a reconnection with the prospect who submitted a lead. Your tasks, your templates, and your voicemails should reflect this. They should be driving your customers to call you back, or to reply to your text, or to reply to an email. In a good CRM, your good BDC agents can handle about 325 opportunities a month, good leads a month. Your salespeople, if they're the ones answering the leads, they can handle about 45 a month. And with this, you should expect an 18% show to lead rate. That means you want 18 warm bodies to show up on time for an appointment out of every 100 leads that you get. Look, with great BDC agents, they can handle more than 400 opportunities a month and get you that 18% or better show to lead rate. And great salespeople can handle up to about 60. This is with good CRMs, and I'll tell you this, you don't need AI yet. You don't. Good processes in a good CRM can gain you the connections that you need. Look, we might need AI tomorrow, and I do mean tomorrow, or next week, or next month. There might be something better than just rebadging ChatGPT and making it a chatbot on your site. The fact of the matter is that your people can manage it if you've got good processes in a good CRM. And finally, your garbage leads, your OEM third-party leads, your hand raiser leads, those can and should be compartmentalized, meaning that they should be in their own shorter process with fewer human tasks, because your team is simply, they're not going to have a benefit to making more calls, sending more text to those. Assume the sale. That is, they are built to respond to qualified buyers who want to buy today. And this is what we do with our templates. And these are the templates you'll get along with all the others in the processes that have been proven to actually move metal. But effective templates assume the sale. They assume that person wants to do business with me today. The fact of the matter is that we've got to make sure that our templates are set up to want to drive that reconnection. So these are my day 1, day 2, day 3 text templates that go out to trade prospects. And if you read these templates, you can see we're assuming the sale. We're assuming the sale and telling the customer about the next step. So for example, on day 1, we say, I see you're looking to get a firm offer on your Honda Accord. Is that correct? We ask a question because we want a reconnection. But also, we want them to know that offer that they got from our trade tool online isn't yet a firm offer. They need to come into the dealership. On day 2, we assume that they want to do business with us. So we say, I was reaching out to schedule the VIP appraisal, telling them what the next step is on your Honda Accord. How does your schedule look today? And if we haven't gotten a hold of them by day 3, we get very assumptive. And we say to them, what time today should we expect to see your Honda Accord? Again, effective templates assume the sale. They don't ask, do you need any more information? Can I answer any questions for you? They don't vomit all of this stuff on the customer. They try to move them through the process. I work with dealers all across the country every month. I look at processes, I look at templates, and I can tell you, if you want to move less metal, let's follow some of these lead handling worst practices. For example, offering alternate vehicles. I just saw a vendor today that has technology that can magically put in the 3 closest matches to the vehicle that the customer inquired about. Fact of the matter is, you're going to sell fewer vehicles because you're going to make the customer car drunk. I inquired about your 2018 Chevrolet Equinox. Don't show me 3 vehicles that are like it, or guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back down the rabbit hole and start looking at more vehicles. We've got to assume the sale. So let's not add alternate vehicles. But you're probably saying, Steve, don't they want to know more about the vehicle? No. They raise their hand basically saying, will you sell me this vehicle today? But we want to send out a template that shares another 60 additional details about that vehicle that they found online already. What if some of those details have to do with features or benefits or options that they don't want? We have one goal of these processes, and that is to drive a reconnection. We don't want to move less metal. How about inviting questions? That is a terrible practice, because the fact of the matter is we have one goal. Let's get the reconnection. Let's set an appointment that shows. But if we open it up for more questions, then we're going to get stuck in a back and forth information exchange. Another worst practice is sending them deeper into the funnel. So they submitted a lead on a vehicle that they want to buy. They raised their hand and said, would you sell me this vehicle? And our first template goes out and says, hey, would you like to save time in the dealership and appraise your trade? They go deeper into the funnel, and now they know, oh, my trade's only worth $12,000? I need $16,000. The fact is, when they raise their hand, we want to connect with them, and then we want to set an appointment that shows. There's no need to send them deeper into the funnel.